All right, as a busy entrepreneur, you don't want to waste time and money on supplements that do not work. And in this video, I'm basically going to break down all the supplements from the underrated and the best to the overrated and the worst, all things that I help my clients with, all the things that I use myself over the years, all the research, all the trial and error and experimentation. I am not sponsored by any of these supplements or brands. And yeah, it's all just things that are going to help improve your focus, energy, and productivity overall to help you scale your business faster. So lock in, full screen, we'll get into it. All right, welcome everyone. Let's rank these supplements from S tier, which is very good, obviously, to D tier, which is not good at all. So these are the common supplements we kind of hear. They get thrown around for general health, focus, productivity, energy, etc. Got all kinds of things: lion's mane, L-theanine, testosterone boosting supplements, coffee, detox. This will be quite interesting. I'm going to tell you most of my take on this is going to be from my experience and what I've trial and errored. I'm not one of those guys who reads studies all day, every day. I'm telling you from my experience and through helping a bunch of other entrepreneurs and friends and family recommendations and yeah, what's really going to help you guys pretty much perform at your best, right? From my experience. So let's get into it with organic green. So and the way I'm going to rank these is based on a few things, maybe the cost, the convenience, the effectiveness, and that kind of thing. So with organic greens, I feel like most people take this when they're compensating for a diet that isn't very rich, or they just feel like, oh, I'm doing something. But for the most case, you're making your body kind of work hard and filter, and your kidneys and your liver are filtering all this stuff that your body probably doesn't really need, nor does it absorb. I would also be careful on the brand that you're getting it from. Um, Again, I took these for a while, and I honestly, unless it was very subtle, I don't think I noticed anything major, to be honest. And I must tell you, from the position I'm in now, there's only a handful of supplements here which I do take on this list here. There's a few that I do take, but this is generally people take this when they're just unsure and uneducated. So I think if you know what you're doing, if you've got your blood tests done and you can see your nutritional deficiencies and the way you want to really deal with nutritional deficiencies is through a blood test and then supplementing these specific ones. And organic greens are just kind of like here's a little bit of everything. It gives you a little bit of everything, and it feels good. At the same time, there is a placebo effect. So yeah, I'm not here to bash it. I think organic greens is. I'll give it maybe a B. I might move it later on. Let's say B tier. All right, moving on. Vitamin D3. Right, this is a supplement I've experimented with a fair bit from years ago. I use it initially to boost my testosterone, which is also very good. It's a very strong anti-inflammatory, which is very good. Anything that boosts your testosterone and is anti-inflammatory is quite good. It's something that's kind of hard to overdose on. Like most doctors will say, "Oh shit, like you need to take 1,000 IU a day. That's too much." But this actually is not too much. You can even take, I've heard from my research, up to like 60,000 IU a day for like half a year before it might become a problem. And if you take it with K2, your body regulates it a lot better. It's very hard to overdose on this. But with most of my clients, it isn't like a thing I recommend off the bat. I get my clients and I recommend you guys just test your blood work first, see the range of your vitamin D. If you're like, let's say like 80% close to the maximum, I just wouldn't really bother. It's not really that necessary. You should be opting for getting more sunlight anyway. Some people, even though they get a lot of sun, they still are vitamin D deficient, which is kind of crazy. I live in Bangkok and I was even vitamin D deficient. It just goes to show. And honestly, I wasn't really getting that much sun. There's a lot of buildings and stuff, so you'd be surprised, right? This one, fairly safe, fairly beneficial. You'll notice like your nose and like the inflammation in your nose will go away like that when you take it. It's a super strong anti-inflammatory. So I would say get your bloods tested and figure out, where are you on the range. If you're anywhere from like 70% or less, supplement it. 5 to 10K IU. Take it with a fatty meal, or with your fish oil. If you take fish oil, it's going to absorb a lot better. But pretty good supplement. I would honestly put that probably in A tier. It served me quite well. It's a precursor to testosterone, so it's also very good there. So, boom. Next one, lion's mane. Lion's mane. So I've experimented with this like a little bit. I wouldn't say too much, and I must say the it works. For me, it works. A lot of these herb supplements, and I'm going to explain if there's a few more here. A lot of them feel like they work a lot in the beginning. They're very strong, very intense. You're like, holy shit, this is great. I'm going to take it forever. But I speak to a lot of people. Most people don't end up taking lion's mane for a while because it seems like it doesn't really work after a little while. You build up a big tolerance.
that kind of thing. So it's one of those where like every now and then you can hop on and take it for a few days or maybe a week or two at a time, then get off and come back on because it doesn't really seem to work that consistently. It is a great supplement. I'll probably put this in A tier. I would say you want to be careful with the source. You want to really do your research and get it from a reputable brand. The brand guys, the brands I'm putting here aren't me recommending these specific brands. They're just the photos for me to show you guys what supplement I'm talking about. But lion's mane specifically, anything herb or all supplements in general, yeah, you want to be more careful specifically with these kind of supplements, the herbs, because you never know, where they're getting it from, the actual quality of it, how they're storing it, like how old it really is, has it been oxidized, if that matters with the supplement. So all these things you want to be careful. And honestly, speak to a herbalist or a naturopath. They'll be able to give you a good source, right? I have a good naturopath on my side, so he helps me out with that. Lion's mane, I think, works very well. What it basically does is increase blood flow to the brain. And when you got more blood flow to the brain, you will focus better. So if you do this in a fasted state with a coffee and you're hydrated, you had good sleep, like this is going to turbo boost your brain. So it's going to help a lot in that burst of focus that you have, right? And again, guys, the overall rule with all of this is like supplements are supplements, right? You should have your sleep and your diet and your stress and your your exercise dialed in, right, to a good degree. These are just the cherries on top, right? These actually do make a fairly big difference if the fundamentals are locked in, right? If they're locked in, it's not gonna make or break your performance. These only work when the fundamentals are fairly locked in for the most part, right? So yeah, moving on. Like for example, if your sleep is terrible and you're dehydrated, having a bit of salt is gonna help a little bit, but it's not gonna fix the terrible energy and focus you've had from your sleep, right? So that's my point basically. So yeah, lion's mane, A. Let's move on. Let's go with a detox tea, right? Detox, healthy, cleansing formula. Detox. Wow. Look, there is a good placebo effect to this, and I don't want to take that away from you. But detox is a little bit more complex, and drinking a tea isn't necessarily going to detox you. The best way, from what I've learned and what I've experienced, the best way to detox is to support your body's natural way of detoxing, the real way, which is helping your liver, right? Having more fiber rich foods, eating things like carrot, drinking more water, sweating more, sleeping more, because that's when your body does the actual detox. Getting sunlight, all this stuff is going to help with the majority of the detox. Whenever you start supplementing random things to help detox, it actually flushes your liver too hard, and your liver has a hard time pushing it out. It kind of bottlenecks it, and it can't really flush out the toxins properly. So if you're drinking this tea all the time, but your diet isn't locked in, you're not sweating much, you're not having much fiber, then it's not really gonna. It might cause more damage than good, essentially. So again, with most supplements, it is just very marketable. People think, if you take a supplement, it's just gonna magically work, right? And do what it says, which it doesn't. You guys got to get really good at looking at the labeling and reading the words, and being a little bit more aware and conscious of like, okay, what is it actually going to do? So I would honestly rate this as like a D. I wouldn't not drink this. I would drink this every now and then, but I just wouldn't do it unless I was doing all the other things right and I know that it's actually going to have an effect, right? Now, let's talk about magnesium glycinate. I already know where I'm going to rank this one, but magnesium glycinate, right? The thing about, I can safely recommend this to all of you guys if you're not taking any magnesium, because most people, am I recording? Yes. Most people are magnesium deficient because the food from our, the farming practices are very unideal. The modern farming practices are not good, and we don't really nurture the soil that our foods, our crop is grown in. And so we're eating foods that don't have magnesium in it, right? And our water doesn't have magnesium in it, so we're not getting it in our diet. On top of that, we're depleting the small amounts of magnesium we get through stress. When we're stressed, our cortisol's high. When our cortisol's high, we deplete magnesium. So most people are deficient in this. Helps so much with sleep, right? Helps a ton with sleep. Honestly, would recommend, so that's 350 milligrams per serving. I'd recommend 350 to 550 fairly safely, especially if you're fairly stressed, you train hard, you stress, etc. A solid supplement, something I always take and I'll be taking probably forever. We'll see how we go, right? Yeah, cool. Let's move on to Creatine. All right, creatine monohydrate. I also wasn't really speaking about the price. This is fairly cheap. These are quite expensive. This is fairly cheap. This can be expensive. This is okay price. So yeah, should have said that before. But creatine. All right, creatine. I actually bounced on and off this for a while because I thought it was giving me hair loss. Because some people are prone to it. There's a lot of debate and back and forth. It does, it doesn't, whatever, right? For me, it actually was accelerating it. But what this does is it helps your body, your brain, and I believe your brain as well, but mostly your muscles are able to hold more water. When it's able to hold more water, it can move like nutrients around. You get better pumps. You can, your stamina, your endurance, your strength, your power is better. Athletically, physically. But on top of that, it is also been, through the research, it has been found to be a cognitive booster. I can't say I've noticed the biggest effects from it, but lately I have been actually mega dosing around 15 grams of creatine, which people before, like only a few weeks ago, were like, oh, fuck, that's too much. Why are you taking that much? But it's really not. I feel great. There's a lot of research going on about it. All the big gurus are talking about it. But I'd recommend you guys start mega dosing creatine. Take 15 grams a day in the morning. See how you feel. Make sure you drink your water with it. But I've honestly noticed just more energy in general. I've actually, you know what? I've been taking this for like 3 weeks, honestly. And I've been hitting, again, I can't attribute everything to this, right? There's my mindset, there's my sleep, there's whatever, right? But I've been smashing PRs. I've been enjoying gym the way more. Did I just speak English? I've been enjoying the gym way more, smashing personal records. And yeah, sparring, I'm able to go for longer. Like cognitively, my brain just works so much better. Again, I can't contribute that all to creatine, but that's what people have been saying, and that's what's been happening to me. So I have been taking 15 grams. I would rate creatine, even before this phase of megadosing creatine, it's always been an S tier supplement. There's so much research, it's so safe, right? That's another thing, safety. Safe, this brand is super safe. Most creatine is quite safe. Magnesium glycinate, very researched, very, very safe. Fairly safe. Vitamin D3. I don't know, and I don't know. Depends on the brand. Do your research, right? Boom. Next one. Sea salt. Salt, essentially, electrolytes, supplementing that. All right, I already know where I'm going to rank this, but hydration, boys. I have a problem with having too much sodium, having too much salt. It makes me look bad, but we're not here to look good anyway. Like talking about performing better. Most entrepreneurs just wake up and don't drink water and go through their day, and they get this brain fog and like, what the fuck? Dehydration happens easily. What you want to do every morning is have 2 cups of water with a pinch of salt, sea salt or pink Himalayan salt or an electrolyte supplement, 200, 300, 400 grams of sodium, and you will be sweet. You will ensure that your body's, holding that. You don't have to be drinking water all day. If you're drinking water all day and pissing all day, you need more sodium because, yeah, if your pee is clear, there's a balance. You can have too much sodium, you can have too little, you can have too much water, you can have too little. You want to find the balance. You want to give your body the salt to hold on to the water, and then just listen to your body. If your pee is yellow or if it's clear, slow down on the water, maybe increase your salt intake. But this is something that I recommend to all clients. Have it in the morning, 2 cups of water, sea salt, stack that with your creatine and other similar supplements, which I'm going to talk about here, such as L-theanine. Anyway, and yeah, super cheap, super easy to have. And the different, your neurons literally cannot fire off properly if you don't have the electrolytes in your brain, if you don't have a certain good enough balance of electrolytes. So your brain performance can be made or broken from dehydration. You could probably remember times you were dehydrated and your brain just could not work. It would not function at all. So highly rate this after sweaty exercise, in the morning. You're going to be dehydrated. Cheap, clean, great for you. Boom. S tier. Essential. Alright, boom. I think I covered everything. Fairly safe. Alright, what else is there to talk about? Next one. Let's talk about testosterone boosting supplements. So, these ones are a bit of a joke, but they work under certain conditions. I want to make my own testosterone boosting supplement, to be honest, one day. But, as in this one, I don't really see what's in it. Tonkat Ali, horny goat weed. There might be whatever vitamin D in it as well. There might be, whatever. Anyway, boron, right? These work, but they're supplements. So it's very, especially in young guys or me, even a few years ago, seeing this, you're like, holy shit, I'm going to take it. It's going to boost my T. But it literally won't unless you're doing the fundamentals fairly well. It might improve it a little bit, but don't expect it to boost your testosterone so much. I'm not saying the supplements don't work, but the biggest impact, like your testosterone, all of this, like let's say this is how much testosterone you can get. Most of it is coming from your sleep and then like lifting heavy weights and lowering your stress and your diet. And then from here to here is like the supplements. That's simply what I'm trying to say. It definitely works, but it's not all that, right? And again, they can be fairly expensive. They can be not reputable. There's a bunch of brands that just get it from China, that kind of thing. So I'm going to speak to you guys a little bit in the end about where to source your supplements from. But yeah, I would recommend overall just speaking to a herbalist or a naturopath. If you speak to a naturopath in Australia, they actually have a lot of regulations, so they only give you top tier, clean, trusted brands, right? So this one going in the D, right down there. Next one, coffee. I like coffee. I've been loving coffee lately. When I got on coffee, I was always jittery and like just fried. But I would say most entrepreneurs, they drink more than 1 to 2 coffees a day. I would say, ask yourself, are you drinking coffee because you need to, or are you drinking coffee because you really enjoy it? If you enjoy it, great, as long as you're not lying to yourself. If you feel like you need it to function, then that's an issue. And the thing is, when you don't have coffee, you're going to have serious withdrawal symptoms. Just remember, what goes up will go down. If you're drinking 4 to 5 coffees a day, it's going to ruin your performance when you get off it. Life's going to be less enjoyable because you have massive dopamine baseline, but coffee is coffee. Coffee is beautiful. It's part of life. Enjoy it. Just you want to be careful with it. It is a stimulant at the end of the day, so you want to be conscious, aware of your dopamine system when you're timing it. You want to delay it, 60 to 90 minutes plus after when you wake up. It's a great, in terms of cognitive performance. We all know what coffee does. Makes you less tired, helps you dial in, gives you that dopamine rush. Even though people say that, it just blocks adenosine, it does still increase dopamine. So, yeah, it's kind of strange why they say that. But coffee, if you use it the right way, I think it's great. I could talk a lot about this, but I would say, general rule, I would say have 1 to 2 a day. Delay it 90 minutes from when you wake up. Have it 10 hours. Don't have it within 10 hours of your bedtime because the half-life is going to affect your sleep. And it definitely does. So don't argue with me. No. Coffee is great. Coffee is great. What else is there to talk about? It's cheap. I would definitely recommend getting an organic brand. When you're buying from like vending machines or 7-Eleven, the processed ones, the high it gives you, like the caffeine high, is quite dirty and makes you anxious. When you get like a quality coffee, invest in a quality coffee. I've got mine sat right there looking at me. I just feel cleaner. I don't get much of a crash. I feel cleaner. Invest in a good coffee, even a good coffee machine with good coffee pods, the ones that don't have the poisons and the toxins in it, right? Quality, use it right, amazing, enjoy it. Boom, gonna bring it up here. It's something I drink every day, every morning, fasted. I love it. So yeah, let's make a bit of room because maybe there's some more room we want to make. Oh no, that's all right. Cool, which one should we pick next? All right. Taurine. This is something I picked up about a year ago, and it's from an Australian biohacker who brings it up all the time. And the reason I got on it was for lowering cortisol. Cortisol was high. My cortisol was high due to other things. I was under eating. I was intermittent fasting for too long. I was under general stress. I should have fixed the cause of it, right? So you don't want to rely on treating the symptom. But taurine, very good in terms of general health. Very good for liver detox. It helps your kidneys in somehow. Can't remember how, but the other thing is it just lowers cortisol. When you lower cortisol, you're more relaxed. When you're more relaxed, you can perform better. When your cortisol is low, you improve your testosterone. So this I see as a testosterone boosting supplement. If you find yourself stressed, even taking it before like a sales call or content or whatever, you could really biohack your stress. And it's just an amino acid. It really is it's an amino block acid. And yeah, it definitely helps with that. Super cheap, very available to find. I would rate this, I wouldn't put it in S tier, but I would put it in A tier. This is something I take every day, but yeah, I could live without it. I could live without all of these guys, but these ones I'd be very annoyed to to give up basically. All right, Alpha GPC. What this basically does is it releases a neurotransmitter um, called I think it's acetylcholine. And what it does is it basically helps you get that tunnel vision. So you know when you're working on one screen or you're just locked in on one thing, and you literally feel like you have tunnel vision, like it's like nothing else matters, and you're just like locked in on one thing. When that happens, when you experience that, you have acetylcholine flowing through your brain, like your neurons are firing that. And this supplement basically helps you do that, right? And I think it helps. I think it's fairly. The reason I didn't take it was because I already have so many supplements, and I'm like, you know what, I don't need it. But I think it definitely works. It definitely helps with your focus, helps you get that tunnel vision. The thing is, you could do this naturally just by staring at the center of something, getting rid of other things, and you'll kind of biohack that. But it seems like a fairly safe supplement. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't researched much into it. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to be an expert. Do your research. But from other coaches I've spoken to, it's fairly safe. I mean, it's from bulksupplements.com. Like, you know what I mean. You guys would be all right. It definitely works. Helps you give that tunnel vision effect. I don't know. Let's put that. Wait, did I really put organic greens in B? I should put that in C. Yeah, I put alpha GPC here. L-theanine. All right, L-theanine is an amino acid. It's found in green tea leaves, I'm pretty sure. So it's kind of a similar effect you'll get with when you drink green tea, except green tea has a bit of caffeine. So this will be like drinking green tea without the caffeine. And you'll notice it kind of gives you this calm, focused state. Pretty much calm, focused, lowers your stress. I would recommend taking this before bed if you're having trouble with stress or anxiety, or before specific events you feel like it might help for. I tend to just take it in the morning. It's just convenient. It also helps, lower the jitters and the stress I get with my coffee. And yeah, I think it's fairly good, very safe, very affordable, and I take it every morning. I would rate this probably A tier. So yeah, what else did I forget? These are the things I love. Again, if I can quickly kind of summarize each of these. This is cool, but it's a bit of a marketing scam. You want to do the fundamentals right, then have it. Don't even bother taking it unless you're sleeping 8 hours. I'm honest, genuinely, unless you're sleeping 8 hours consistently, don't even bother with this. This, same thing, support your body with detox, have enough fiber, sweat a lot, drink a lot of water, support your liver. Don't drink, don't do drugs, like support your liver. And then you can drink it here and there, right? But yeah. This one, it's a bit of cope. Just test your blood, figure out what your body actually needs. Again, there might be some minerals and there might be probiotics in there that might help. You just want to be a bit smart with it. Speak to someone who knows what they're talking about, like me or a naturopath. Or doctors don't really give a shit. Doctors aren't really like educated in nutrition or whatever that much. But yeah, if you've been taking it for a while, just stop and be like, all right, well, what am I actually taking? Do I actually need it? Let me go do a blood test. And yeah, because it might just be, it's a lot of money. These are fairly expensive, is why I say it. And you're making your liver and your kidney probably work a little bit more than it needs to, which I don't think is a big deal. I've heard that's bad. But alpha GBC, kind of harmless. Try it out. Gives you tunnel vision. It's whatever. It's kind of cool. It works. Vitamin D3, very strong inflammatory. Forgot to include, yeah, it does definitely help with your immune system, so you get sick a lot less. You'll even notice your skin looks better. Sometimes I just notice, like, I just feel, like, alive. I don't know if it's, like, the lower anti-inflammation, but, yeah, super good. Boost your testosterone, precursor. Fairly safe. Get your bloods tested, and, yeah, know when to get on it, when to get off it. This one, get a good brand. Do your research. Cycle on and off it. It usually doesn't work consistently. Do it in the morning when you're fasted. You will feel superhuman. Taurine lowers your cortisol, boosts your testosterone due to lowering your cortisol. And what else? It's just an amino acid. It's fairly safe, very cheap as well. If you get the powder, it's a lot better. I tend to take 2 to 3 grams every single day. I didn't really tell you guys how much I take for each of these. I did for most of them. 10K for the vitamin D3, alpha GBC, 1 or 2 pills, whatever. Yeah, I don't really need to. But yeah, 2 to 3 grams. It's just an amino acid, very safe, very cheap. If you find yourself stressed, take it in the morning. 2 to 3 grams in the morning. Boom, you'll be sweet. This one I'd recommend like 300 milligrams in the morning or at night, or even having like 150 in the morning, 150 at night. Don't go overboard with it. It is super fast acting now that I think about it. It does work straight away. None of these really give you a come down besides maybe coffee. And yeah, L-theanine is great. Pair it with your coffee, have it before sleep. Coffee, use it the right way, as I just spoke about. Delay it in the morning. Don't have it 10 hours before bed. Don't rely on it. Enjoy it. Sea salt, have it in the morning. Make sure you're hydrated. You're not pissing clear water every 20 minutes. And it will help your brain work a lot better. There was something like if you're going from like 97% to like 80, like 99 to like 97% hydration, like you notice it, like you get significant cognitive impairment, right? Creatine, mega dose that shit, see how you feel, see how you perform in the gym as well. Magnesium glycinate, essential. Please take it for sleep. It is super, super solid. But yeah, again, I must say one more time, do your research for all these. This is just from my experience and my recommendations, things I tell my clients, things I tell, not tell myself, but yeah, it is things I tell myself, but it's through my experience. So yeah, please research the brands, make sure you're getting reputable company. Maybe drop me a DM on Instagram and help you find a company that maybe I recommend to my clients from the same country you're in. But yeah, if you feel like I left out some other supplements, maybe I'll make another video. But yeah, hope that helped. If you're confused about anything, drop a comment, DM. But yeah, if you enjoyed, leave a like, sub, comment. And if you want me to personally audit your performance in terms of like your main goal in your business, just so we know what you're working towards anyway, and just, a daily, I guess, audit of, what you're doing in terms of your health, your productivity, your performance, we can look into that, give you some kind of road plan going forward. Yeah, drop me a DM, say the word audit, AUDIT, and we'll go from there. But have a good one. Bye-bye.